He'd heard stories of things that lived in the Red Wastes, things that thrived in the Red Wastes, things that fed on human flesh, beasts that were larger than a van and more vicious than even the Red Kings. Just stories, though, he told himself as he turned slowly toward the source. The sound came again, a small movement in the dirt, scratching and sliding that brought to mind pictures of scaly clawed feet and razor-sharp teeth. The ember glow that he allowed to pass through his fingers wasn't enough to see clearly, but he peered into the darkness. The shelves were there. The cans of food were there. Boots clomped their way across the floor in a rhythmic stomp, stomp, wait. Stomp, stomp, wait. They were looking for something hidden beneath the floor. Stomp, stomp, wait. His light was too dim to see from above. He was sure of it. But he had to see what was here. Then, something moved nearby. Stomp, stomp, wait. Closer, now. He wasn't scared of things. Not usually. In this situation, he was far more afraid of being found by the Red Kings than whatever was hiding here. Stomp, stomp, wait. The orange light glanced across something familiar, and he moved the light back to it. His boots ground into the dirt as he took a tentative step closer. It was positioned between two shelves, a small, rounded object. Upon closer inspection, he realized it was a boot. Two of them, actually. Heels down and toes pointing toward the sky. He put his toe to one, and instead of the boot sliding in the dirt an inch or two, it tilted and then moved back into the position. It was connected to something. Stomp, stomp, wait. Almost on top of the door. One more, maybe two more steps. He risked kneeling down in the dirt to shine the light through the gap beneath the shelves instead of across them and stifled a yelp. A grizzled, old man lay against the dirt wall between two shelves. His face was sunken and his eyes were a deep purple. Even in the sallow light from Lee's beam, he could tell the man was dead. The large gash across his throat and shoulder, and the blood that had turned the shirt a deep, rusty crimson was evidence enough. Stomp, stomp, wait. Suddenly, a small squeal from the darkness beside him set him back on his ass, and he swung around to shine the flashlight, while still concealing most of its light with his hand, toward the sound. He didn't have much time to see or react to it, but saw a small face and smaller body leap through the air and land on him. He felt weak fists pummel the leather across his midsection. He didn't have the time for this. With one hand, he grabbed what could only be a child that was attacking him and, with the other, put his hand over its mouth. The beam light had fallen into the dirt, and its beam now shone undiminished toward the dead man in the corner. Stomp. And then nothing. Had they heard? Lee thought the sound of boots was on top of the trap door. They had to be. They'd started at one end of the place and stamped, listening for the hollow sound that meant room beneath. But did they hear the hollow sound of the hatch or the squeal of the kid? Did they see the light between the floorboards? The kid struggled feebly in his grasp. He could feel it trying to bite his fingers, but they were far too large, with far too much pressure on its mouth for it to get purchase. He wrapped the kid in his muscled arm and tucked it close to his chest. It wiggled and tried to make noise, but Lee was certain that even its tiny whimpers couldn't be heard above. The beam light, however, was bad. Even though it was shining across the floor toward the wall, its ambient light would be easy to see from above. All it would take would be someone's wayward eye to spot the glow coming from a knothole, something even a novice could do. They'd look down and see a space lit from within because of his stupid light. The footsteps may have stopped, but he could just hear the sound of voices murmuring above him. Being careful to avoid making any noise or giving the kid a chance to, he reached out a gloved hand and curled his fingers around the small tube.